3, 2.
Good morning. Well, decided to do things a little bit different before we get into open house and do our traditional longer walkthroughs. They don't need to be looking at these, say the brains, but you have a huge role.
It's actually something that we've had on the agenda for a while, but we just hadn't had the time to put it all together. So going back to when we originally launched the 33.3, it was really an innovative floor plan for us because it was the first time in a Class A of anything, gas or diesel, where we had a drop-down bed overhead in the front and then bunks on the side, which essentially when you add the sofa, you add the dinette, and you add the rear bed, it's 10 sleeping spaces essentially. And to do that under 35 feet was industry first, and that floor plan has been with us since 2012. Well, what we did is we challenged the engineering group and said, okay, how can we keep it this nice compact size so that when you're adventurous and you want to go anywhere, you still get all those things, but give me a washer dryer too, because it's the only floor plan we don't have a stackable washer dryer. And so what we were able to do, Steve, is we actually use our tilt-a-view technology with the 33.3 floor plan, which allowed us to extend the slide on the roadside. And so by doing so just a little bit, it made for enough room for a stackable. Now, our concern had been, well, if we do that, then there's a huge wardrobe on that side that we're losing, and obviously if you're going to have that many people in the coach, then you're going to need laundry capabilities. People don't like going to the local laundromat or the campground laundromat. So what we did to also improve the floor plan is we readjusted the curbside slide, and we made it so it's a full wardrobe across the back. So we added a stackable, and we made the wardrobe bigger.
Huge. Now, as he's talking about, as Adam's talking about, roadside and curbside, go ahead and spin. I mean, just take your phone, go like this. Follow along on the 360 tour. I know it's new. Nobody else is doing this. So we're the innovators at Thor Motor Coach.
I love it.
We kind of like to do things before everybody else. Let's talk, too, about the specs. And I'll tell you, the one thing we're getting a lot of people asking about today on this, because this is seeing some heavy traffic, which is awesome. We actually had to shut the door real quick. Let's talk about powertrain, transmission, and towing, because that's a big concern for people who use these diesels. They go on longer trips. Sometimes they like the full time. So let's talk about the power here.
They do. First and foremost, Freightliner.
Yeah.
I can't speak enough about them. I don't think people realize what type of technology they're bringing to this business. But with Daimler, which is the largest trucking company in the world, and then Mercedes-Benz, which is also part of the Daimler group, they just continue to raise the level of performance. And when you step from a gas coach to a diesel and you go to air ride with Rolls-Royce type shock absorbers that are custom tuned, and our Atlas foundation that's built and designed specific to the floor plan, the coach just rides so smooth. And then, fortunately for us with Freightliner, they developed this new axle technology a few years back. And you don't hear me talk about it enough. And you talk to the big time engineers over at Freightliner, they'll boast about it as being the thing that changed their lives too. But this new V-Ride technology, it used to be, if you were looking at a diesel, even when I was selling them shorter than 38 feet back many, many years ago, I was apprehensive about really promoting it too much because it was really difficult to keep them on the road. And we want these coaches to be easy to drive. And when we go to a 208-inch wheelbase like we have with this Palazzo, because of this new V-Ride technology, it just keeps the coach from wandering. It keeps it solid, it keeps it smooth, and you're excited about it. And the power, I mean, you talk about Cummins, and you got 44% more torque than a V10 motor, going to this coach at a very similar weight to what a V10 is going to be. And in fact, way back when the Palazzo first came out, I'll never forget, I went with a friend of mine, Donnie, up in the mountains in Colorado, and we were able to test a coach of this size. And to be able to maintain 55 miles an hour on a 7.5% grade, it's pretty impressive, Steve. And then when you talk about a larger fuel reservoir at 90 gallons, and the fact that these coaches cross country are getting 11.5 miles of the gallon when you're pulling something, that means something to somebody.
Really impressive. And the other things, as we're talking impressive, let's talk about the layout. I'm just going to move this camera real quick. Let's kind of go over to the kitchen and kind of take us through. We can sit here on the sofa if we want to for this one, or in the spacious dinette. So we'll kind of talk about what we have with layout here for the kitchen, the bunks, and how you decided on where to put everything in here. Because it's really just, I mean, you look at it from an ergonomic standpoint. I just want to say usable living space is the first thing that comes to mind.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we've always been challenged with TV
Right.
placement, and obviously the sofa is going to be the primary place where you're going to want to sit back, and you can look directly at a TV.
Right.
You're not going to have a crick in your neck from having to turn it constantly. And we've incorporated these sound bars. In fact, we even put a sound bar on the outside televisions now. So we heard from customers. They said, sometimes I don't want to watch TV. I just would like to listen to some jazz or whatever. You can do that through your phone. And the dinettes probably go unnoticed sometimes, but the way we design them, we try to make it to where it's real comfortable for 4 people to sit. Sometimes you see certain manufacturers will build these big cushions up against the wall. Well, guess what? That makes the seating space smaller. Or we hear complaints about height from the bottom or the top of your leg to the bottom of the dinette. We always try to make for a much more comfortable sitting situation, and all these dinettes sleep as well, which is really nice. And then moving along to the galley, it's a galley we've used forever, but the one thing we hadn't done until 2019 is we didn't have a kitchen window in the 33.3 or the 33.2. So guess what, folks? We have a kitchen window now.
And I like the way that's lined out. I'm just going to open the bathroom. Talk about the bunks here. We got nice bunk set up with you got the hanging rod. So if I go back here, I guess, how about right there? People can take a look into the bunks in the bedroom and the bath. So the bunks here you got set up really nice for people on long trips with or with kids.
Completely redesigned too. I mean, before we had these doors that had these hinges on them, and we had problems with it, and we got some feedback again from our retail customers, and so we've now gone to these sliding pocket doors. The way that the actual bunk functions is differently as well. It's easier to handle. It used to be really heavy and hard to deal with, and this also makes it into a seating area because we can relocate the television. The top television is movable, so you can put it in the hallway. So if the kids want to play Fortnite or that's what Sean, my son, likes to play. But anyway, they can do that. They can play their video games. They can watch TV together. And then they also have their separate TVs as well.
And the midship bathroom, very large. I mean, really easy to access for everybody. So it's night. Nobody's going to wake anybody up.
Anybody can stand inside without having their shoulders pressed up against the sides. It's got plenty of height in there. Nice big toilet. So it really has it all when it comes to all of that. But then obviously, like I had mentioned before, the bedrooms where I think
bedroom is where we're going to find Tom. Now Tom does not come with the coach. Adam did not design the coach around Tom in his. He's running the camera. As we're trying this, it's new. We're playing with a couple of things.
I think we need to design more things around Tom. Honestly, I really do. But again, the stackable washer dryer being back here.
Yeah, go ahead, open that up.
And you can see, nice and compact. Doesn't take up a whole lot of room. And again, because we were able to get this 40-foot motorhome that don't have wardrobes like this.
How about I move that there?
So we were worried about something. We were worried about cross ventilation. So what we did is we redesigned the rear end cabinet to put a nice big window there so that you get the cross ventilation, but then wardrobe that comes all the way across. And so basically all we did is we just jutted it out a little bit. So when it comes in, it just covers up the bed slightly. So you still have a bed you can sleep on when you're traveling down the road. Obviously, there's no seat belts on this, folks, so be careful. But then you also have the drawer stack underneath, and it just makes for just an awesome situation for us. We gain a stackable, we gain wardrobe space. There's really
what
nothing.
More could one ask?
It's a win-win.
And I know you folks want a lot more. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be at our big open house, so we're going to spend a lot of time with Adam because he's got some great new products to show us. We'll take you on a little more in-depth walkthrough of this Palazzo. We'll show you the outside. We'll talk about some of the storage and all that there. So we just kind of want to give you a little taste of things to come. A couple more things we're going to show you today. So I'll let you get back at it. I know 1,000 people.
And just real quickly, like bam, bam, bam. But brand new front and rear caps on the Palazzo.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Redesigned. Got the nice big lighted Thor shield. I went to a new paint vendor, so we're using BASF paint with a better clear. The new graphics are phenomenal. Wi-Fi is standard equipment along with the solar panel now. So industry first again. First one to have standard solar on every diesel. First one to have standard Wi-Fi on every diesel. It's that new 2.0 wire guard system.
Which is really, you put your SIM card up top.
Who doesn't need Wi-Fi?
Oh my gosh, it's great. So get ready, all right? Come out to Hershey. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by, see us. And then we will come to you with a lot more on the Palazzo and a lot more Thor Motor Coach projects in a couple weeks at our open house. Adam, thank you very much. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.